Hello, welcome to Die Hard United, the one stop for everything Manchester United. I've got some good news to bring to you as Marcus Rashford has returned to training at Carrington after missing out on our last 2 games through injury and illness. Don't forget to leave a like on this video and subscribe to this channel. This is Die Hard United, the one stop for everything Manchester United. Rashi was absent for the game against Wolves after picking up a knock, but returned to training last week, only to then come down with an illness which ruled him out for our last weekend trip to Bournemouth. But Rashford returned to training with the full squad today, and he could now be involved in our Premier League games against Chelsea on Thursday and the final game of the season against Fulham this weekend. Rashford is also 1 goal away from 30 goals for the season, and he would be the first United player to reach that landmark since Robert Van Persie 10 years ago. What a season Rashford has had under Eric Ten Hag, and all praises goes to the both of them, obviously, for Ten Hag instilling, developing this boy called Rashford, coming out for a very bad season last season to having a 30-goal season, which is very, very good for him, and also for Rashford for working on his development and instilling that strong mentality in himself, working hard and getting the job done. And hopefully this goes on for years and years, but all credit goes to Ten Hag and his coaches, because definitely they lifted the spirit of Rashford from last season, which was very, very down, into what he is now. And yeah, hopefully it continues. And to some transfer news, Man United have identified Brighton striker Evan Ferguson as a target for the summer of 2024, according to Sky Sports. Remember, summer of 2024, we're not talking about this summer, we're talking about the end of the next season. 18-year-old Evan Ferguson has enjoyed a breakout season at Brighton with 10 goals in 14 games this season. He signed a new 5-year contract with Brighton in April amidst growing interest from Premier League clubs for him. But Man United and Tottenham are said to be keeping a strong eye on the teenager for the next 12 months ahead of a potential move for the player next year. The report adds that Brighton believe Ferguson will be worth around £100 million if his current development continues. Of course, he'll be 20 years next year, but I don't see anybody buying Ferguson for 100 million, a 20-year-old striker for 100 million. That's not going to happen at all. But I expect him to go around 70 to 60 to 70 or 60 to 80 million pounds next year in the summer of 2024. Definitely, with the way he's going to be a very top striker in the future. But let's see what happens in the next 12 months. Of course, Man United are going to sign a striker this summer, but we'll be looking to get in another young striker who's going to come in moving forward. But first, we need 2 strikers right now, but we can't get that. So maybe we'll get one now and get the second one next year, probably Evan Ferguson. But let's see how his development continues. That's the most important thing. According to reports coming out of Italy today, Serie A side Fiorentina are interested in taking Brandon Williams on loan next season. Williams returned from an average loan spell at Norwich City with the hopes of competing for a place in the first team, but was hindered by a long-term injury that has seen him play just 5 minutes for Eric Ten Hag this season. Very, very poor. But obviously not his fault. He has been injured. But at the end of the day, he's not good enough. And Eric Ten Hag is willing to let Brandon Williams lead this summer, with Fiorentina eyeing a loan deal that would hand them an option to make it permanent next season for around €5 million. I think almost every United fan would agree that Brandon Williams is not good enough to play for this club. He's not good enough to play for Eric Ten Hag, and definitely needs to be sold. So this comes at very good news for us, because we need him to leave, and we need to make as much money for him as possible. 5 million, 6 million, 7 million, that's fine. But we need him to leave, and not a loan deal, a permanent deal. Be done with him and be done with him forever, because he's not good enough to play for the club. He can do a job for Norwich, for Everton, but not for us. He's not even a good bench player. So definitely Brandon Williams needs to leave, and if Fiorentina are interested in getting him, good news for us. And to the last transfer news, according to Sky Sports Germany, Manchester United are monitoring Moussa Diaby's situation at Bayern Leverkusen, and next step would depend on the club's ownership situation. Bayern Leverkusen values Diaby at around 70 to 80 million euros. That's a large amount of money anyway. But like at the end of the day, it all comes down to our ownership situation. We know the ownership situation is hindering a lot of things. A lot of things are in pause because of the ownership situation. So this comes as no surprise, because we know that most of our transfer business would be hindered because of the ownership situation and many other things, both incoming and outgoing. So this is not new news. This is not news. We all know that. But yeah, we're interested in Moussa Diaby, we're interested in Harry Kane, we're interested in Osimhen. But all comes down to how much money do we have, how much money can we spend, how much money can we make from players we're going to sell. So that's the story. And I'm tired of the takeover situation. There's no concrete new news out, but hopefully soon we will know that. But at the end of the day, the theory is that we won't know who is going to buy the club until after the FA Cup final, which is around 2 weeks from now. So it's still going to be a long wait before that game is being played. So I have to focus on the football side. But that's all for now. Don't forget, this is Die Hard United, the one stop for everything Manchester United, and I will see you all on the next one. Stay tuned.